What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. With TLC over and the Royal Rumble next, how did the WWE book last night's Raw? Chances are not very well, as this is the time of year when the WWE usually phones it in until the new year. Join us now as Wrestlelamia examines the 16th December edition of Monday Night Raw and brings you the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a post-TLC injury report, why Paige isn't on WWE Backstage tonight, a top WWE Superstar re-signs with 5 more years, the latest UFC star the WWE is courting, and the real reason a WWE Superstar was suspended. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Now, there's so much to get through, we won't recap this week's edition of Monday Night Raw, but instead, let's look over the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. Number 1. Some good wrestling. While Wrestlelamia isn't claiming the WWE has taken some of our past comments to heart in booking its weekly television, we can't help but think of previous videos where we suggested the WWE utilize more battle royals and gauntlet matches to feature its many talented stars. Last night's gauntlet match to determine the number 1 contender for the United States Championship did a good job of showcasing some of the stars you might expect competing for the US Championship, such as Humberto Carrillo, Andrade, Ricochet, Matt Hardy and R-Truth, as well as someone you'd normally think of counting the lights, Akira Tozawa. Unfortunately, the finish left something to be desired despite continuing the feud between Humberto Carrillo and Andrade. Number 2. A promising promo. While fans are still uncertain about how they like Seth Rollins' new heel persona, he's got off to a strong start despite the fact that his status as a locker room leader and setting examples to the locker room is eerily reminiscent of King Corbin's self-proclaimed status as a locker room leader and Seth's past as the chosen one for the authority. But in our opinion, Seth is doing a fantastic job as a heel. Number 3. A new faction. Although the WWE botched things by not keeping the promising trio of the Revival and Randy Orton together, it seems like the WWE may be teaming the Viking Raiders with Randy Orton to take on the OC. This could help the Viking Raiders get over some, as the WWE has done a poor job promoting them so far, and Orton's star power could help. The AJ Styles vs Randy Orton feud has promise, and the addition of the Viking Raiders could make for some exciting 6-man tag matches. And number 4, back to Becky. It's good to see the WWE finally refocusing on Becky Lynch's singles career. While there's nothing wrong with a singles champion competing in tag team matches, it shouldn't be done at the expense of the championship. The Raw Women's Championship has been neglected for far too long, and there's no reason for this other than lazy booking. Asuka vs Becky Lynch should be a good series, and hopefully the Empress of Tomorrow won't get shortchanged fighting the man if the WWE calls Shayna Baszler up to Raw to challenge Becky. Number 1. No contest? Really? Come on, if you're gonna do a gauntlet match, could we at least have a proper winner? This took up 50 minutes of the show, and we're gonna end up with no winner at all? Like we said in the good, the match was good and it utilized some of WWE's best talent. But in the end, it did die down a horrible death. Now we can't put it in the ugly, as it really wasn't that bad, and it's not like we had 50 minutes of Mabel vs Yokozuna, but what a serious waste of time in the end. Number 2. Ban all squash matches. Wrestlelamia has noted that squash matches are okay and even helpful at times to get stars over initially. However, the WWE's continued use of local talent to put over Eric Rowan has not only been useless, but even worse, boring. While the WWE is committed to ignoring its past mistakes, a time-honored tradition for Vince McMahon, we can't help but point out what a terrible job the WWE has done trying to get the Viking Raiders over on Raw by having them squash mostly enhancement talent. Last Sunday's TLC just showed how apathetic the fans are to the Viking Raiders, which is disappointing as the team showed lots of promise. The WWE has lots of mid-card talent to throw at new stars until they start facing better competition. No one seems to care about Rowan or what mystery item he's carrying. The only mystery fans care about is why the WWE can't book its undercard properly. Sunday night's match between Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black demonstrated how 2 undercard superstars can steal a show when they're given the chance to work against quality opponents. Although Buddy Murphy lost, he got over with the fans. Rowan could do the same if he started wrestling some more competitive matches. Until he does, fans have little reason to get behind him. Number 3. Does Randy really have friends? Now if you recall back to Friday Night SmackDown, where Roman Reigns got dog food poured all over him, not a single wrestler in the back came out to help him. Now Roman Reigns is one of the top babyfaces of the WWE, so it could be considered that he has a lot of friends backstage, but nobody still came out. But are you really telling me that Randy Orton actually has friends backstage that'll come out to help him? Randy has even noted to the likes of Rey Mysterio that he needs no help. Yeah, we may be nitpicking, but it's just something that doesn't sit right. Randy is a loner, why would people come out to help him? For crying out loud, Roman even has family in the WWE that doesn't come out to help him. And number 4, the Lana Lashley saga continues. While it's clear some fans enjoy the train wreck quality of the Lana Lashley romance storyline, it's unclear how many of their YouTube views tune into Raw or watch pay-per-views. Until then, it's questionable just what purpose this storyline is serving. While it's helped to put Rusev on the map, the Bulgarian Brute should be moving on to a better program soon. If the WWE continues the Lashley vs Rusev feud past the Royal Rumble, Rusev could lose the momentum he's had since his return to WWE television. But that was the bad, what about the downright ugly? Now apart from the gauntlet match that really didn't even go anywhere, there was still some serious work rate put into that match. This was the second last Raw of 2019 and you could just tell WWE was phoning it in with this one. Hopefully they'll make things a little more interesting in the start of the year. In our opinion, it wasn't the worst Raw of 2019, but WWE could have done a hell of a lot better. What did you guys think of Raw? Let us know in the comments down below. Let's go on to some news, as our first story looks at post-TLC injury update. The recent TLC pay-per-view saw 2 unfortunate injuries, with Aleister Black breaking his nose after a bad bump and Kairi Sane getting knocked out during a TLC match with Asuka against the team of Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. According to Pro Wrestling Sheet's Ryan Satin, sources tell us Sane seemed to have been knocked out in the first few minutes of the Women's Tag Team Championship TLC match, though it's unclear at which point exactly, which is why she appeared to be out of it during parts of the match. Sane has not been cleared to wrestle, but according to Ringside News, Black has been authorized to wrestle. Well, even though he has been authorized to wrestle, Black has seemingly gone back to his store cupboard, waiting for the next opponent to knock. Next up, WWE Criticised for handling of Kairi Sane's injury. While it's still unclear when Sane was injured during the TLC main event, some pundits such as Dave Meltzer have criticized the WWE for its handling of the Kabuki Warrior's injury. It was also noted that it's pretty much universally agreed that last night's pay-per-view from the Target Center in Minneapolis was handled poorly, apparently in regards to the injury to WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Kairi Sane. There's a feeling that a doctor should have been sent out during the main event, with the power to stop the match if needed, or they could have had gone right to the finish or taken Sane to the back with Asuka left to work a handicap match when it was apparent that Sane was knocked out. We for one agree with Dave Meltzer. She clearly looked out of it for most of the match, and since WWE have EMTs on standby at all times, they really should have assessed her during the match. We're surprised WWE didn't do this, as they take concussions extremely seriously. Next up, Triple H and Mr. McMahon missed TLC. Post Wrestling is reporting that Vince McMahon and Triple H were absent from the TLC pay-per-view, with Meltzer reporting that Paul Heyman handled Raw's booking and Bruce Pritchard handled SmackDown's matches. McMahon and Helmsley reportedly discussed the booking via a conference call, and as always, Vinnie Mac had the final say. Next up, Kofi Kingston signs a 5-year deal with WWE. Look for more years of the power of positivity, as Kofi Kingston recently revealed he signed a new 5-year deal with the WWE. The 38-year-old superstar announced the signing during an episode of the New Day Feel the Power podcast, saying, "I'm not done, I just signed another 5-year contract. We got 5 years, who knows what my body is going to be like in those 5 years." The WWE's Dreadlock Dynamo has become a fixture in the WWE and has seen his star continue to rise in the WWE, not only in the tag team division, but with his recent 6-month reign as WWE Champion. Our next story, Paige is absent from this week's WWE Backstage. Now the Backstage regular Paige won't be on this week's show, but look for Ember Moon to substitute when the show features Alexa Bliss as its special guest. Could Paige's absence be the result of a recent criticism of the WWE's handling of its women's division? We'll have to see and find out. Next up, WWE is interested in a UFC star. The WWE continues its goal of getting former UFC heavyweight and light heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier to work with it. According to a recent interview, the WWE approached him about showing up for the Brock Lesnar vs Cain Velasquez press conference. Fox apparently also approached him about appearing on WWE Backstage. Cormier, who served as Velasquez's training partner, was unable to make the press conference due to scheduling conflicts. As for WWE Backstage, he's too busy with ESPN and had to pass on the Backstage appearance. This is just another sign of the WWE's continued efforts to sign stars from MMA and boxing. And our last story, the real reason Primo Colón was suspended. Both Primo Colón and Robert Roode were recently suspended for 30 days due to violating WWE's wellness policy. No information other than that was released, but one would assume it was due to having something in your system that you really shouldn't have according to the policy. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case. In fact, Primo was suspended for not showing up to take the test. In an interview with Primera Hora, he mentioned, "I was not on the road. I was not scheduled for any event in the near future. I'm in Puerto Rico when they called me suddenly, not to use me, but to travel to do a doping test. I was ready to do it, but I told them that I was in Puerto Rico and that I was willing to go to a place that they chose to test me without any problem, without any discomfort. I was not going to pay for a trip just to get tested for doping. I didn't hear anything from the company about it, and I thought that they were going to call me when they found a place to do the test." Almost 2 months pass, and I get the letter that I am suspended according to them because I refused to take the test. And that's not correct. They took it as I was out of the country, but I was available. I don't want them to say that I failed because that is totally false and incorrect. They usually do their doping test at events. Someone appears there to collect the urine of fighters, employees, referees, to do their evaluation once a month. I did not say anything positive. I was in Puerto Rico. I have to clarify it because my reputation is worth more than any check. Primo told that he would be appealing the decision. Now, it pretty much won't affect his booking as he hasn't been used since January of this year, but it's mainly to clear his name. But there you have it, guys, our analysis of the 16th December Monday Night Raw, as well as the latest wrestling news. Did you guys watch Raw? And if so, what did you guys think of it? Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.